Kublai pi baro ap yape yagri khasi channel ngiwan rasha pi ya ka thu khubor jong kani Taiew menta ki phangi bokong san mi jindat bat prasha economic mat ka VPP ya ka jingkran ulat da ktin Hindi ha assembly yadaw menteri rangba ya ka jingkran ulat da ktin Hindi kentaj u CEM ka KHADC ya ka jing INOC na ka benta ka linti rel ha detilia shabarnehan namar ka jing bam ai bankren halor ka roster system on mi madan ka VPP. Syakiam arngut halor ka jingsha kenok don kti penyap yang rangba ha paham maulin arpomer. Lingba ka exhibition la rakhe ya ka World Water Day. Ngini pai mentash ki Khubor bnia. Economic mat jongka sign perthai Voice of People's Party VPP menhaka sngis dang jongka dorbar mangtingka ka yin dorbar thap an ka jila kila mi jindat na ka yin dorbar thap an ban pen pawe ka jing prasha ka jongki halor ka jingkran ulat ka jila ya economic mat da ktin Hindi Hamar basdang ka jingkran ulat ka jila phoguchohan unomic mat ka nongkrem constituency ubalong ru president jongka sang VPP uba ardent milabasayomoy ulayang ban prasha bat ongru baga jila Meghalaya kamdi ka jila ka bakren da ktin Hindi Shosho ulapan pauling ba u speaker jongka yeng dorbar ba ulat uday ban kren da ktin ka basong tholang namar ba lada ngisha ya ka ni ka ktin ha yeng dorbar kan long ru prasha ya ka jing sngo jongki pat ba ka jila Nagaliang menteri rang bapat uloong bakani kamdei karukom ne ka akor ba no mikmat unle kat badang ya ke jingkran ulat haka yeng dorbar thawan.
You are here because of the toil and sweat of the people and the leaders of the state.
When the chair
We just not get the state simple as that.
all the members are requested to sit down. When the chair is on his feet, nobody else is left.
We condemn this. No. We don't want to accept this. We will not accept this. We are not informed. Meghalaya is not an English-speaking state. We cannot allow the government of India to impose on us the language. So we will not allow this. Down. We condemn the governor. We condemn the governor for addressing us in a language we don't understand.
This is not the behavior expected of elected member. Mr. Speaker said this is not the behavior expected of the elected member. The Honourable Speaker is the Honourable Governor is addressing the House. The Honourable is in the House. This is not the kind of this is not the kind of behavior expected of elected members.
The people of the state will not accept to be imposed. Language should be imposed on us.
Sir, the rules are
I
very
don't
clear.
understand what you are talking
The rules are very clear that if the written speech has been put in the House, the honourable members.
No. This is a design for the government of India to start with other states.
If an individual is not able to read English, then they cannot impose it on the individual.
We will not allow
The written speech has been circulated in the House.
Yes.
And therefore, since the written speech is circulated in the House,
The rule is clear.
so therefore, yes, the rule also says that the written speech should be given. Mr. Speaker, sir, I request that this kind of behavior should not be admitted. This is not the way the Honourable Governor is addressing the House. This is not the kind of behavior that's expected of elected members. The written speech has been circulated to everybody, and there is no reason why the issue should be made. If an individual has got certain limitations in terms of not being able to speak or read a particular language, then we have to allow. Because the written speech has been circulated. It is not that the Honourable Governor is speaking only because he is able to read Hindi, he is not able to read English, and that's the limitation that is there. There is no reason that we should give us an issue. He is not doing it because he wants to do it. He is doing it because he has limitations of reading, not in English but in Hindi. And therefore the written speech has been circulated as per rules in English. And hence, as a respect, this is very sad to see that a disrespect like this is being done to the member, to the Honourable Governor of the House. Therefore, it's very sad, and I request the members not to bring out an issue like this. This is not the way.
The people of the state have not given us the mandate to speak in Hindi in this house.
Please take your seat. Since the translated version circulated to all the members, and our honorable governor has certain limitations. So I will allow honorable governor to speak in Hindi, and the translated version, English version, is circulated to all the members. I request members to kindly bear the house and also show decorum of the house, not to shout while the honorable governor is making his governor's speech. So I would request once again all the members to please bear the house and kindly listen to the governor's speech.
So, as a matter of protest,
Otherwise,
as a matter of not accepting this kind of position from Delhi, we are sending Hindi-speaking governors to us. We don't understand what they are talking, so we will speak walk out. We do not want to be part of this proceeding, sir. And those who don't feel insulted, they will stay in their seats. This is insulting for the state.
You know, the language being used as the address of the government. Because according to the rule, it has mentioned very clearly that the language to be transacted in the assembly should be in English. And we are not a Hindi-speaking state. So we are not expected, the government of India, to send the Hindi-speaking governors to us because we cannot communicate. It is an insult to us. And let us not forget that the toil and sweat of the people and the leaders of the state for statehood is due to the imposition on the part of the Assam government, the attempt on the part of the government to impose Assamese as an official language. That was the main reason that made the people and the leaders to fight for the statehood. We've got a state on our own because of that issue. So we cannot allow this kind of imposition from Delhi, that we have to listen or speak to Hindi. In Hindi,
Translated copies of the government.
Yes, it may be a translated, but the rule says clearly that it cannot be transacted. No, we don't understand. Then if they feel that a translated version has been given, then what is the point of addressing? Tell him not to come. They have already circulated the address in English. What is the point of addressing? We are talking about, the addressing. He should address the language. We understand. We should not allow this.
Hadin belawai ke tei ka dorbar haka tehi ka singi sedang jongka ka kong amprin ling do ka badai ka menteri jong ka tanat ka kot ka khia jong ka jela ka lapen pau ba kalong ka beran kamna ka benta ka sarkar India bakan tip ba ki pat ba jong ka jela Meghalaya kimdei ki basung thu bhai ka tin Hindi Kokong amperin kalau ong ru ba wat la ai shaki ya ka jingkren ha ka tin pharang hindai kalong ka ba e apat ban sung thu ya ka jingkren ulan Nagaliang ba polling do pad ulo ong ba kanlong ka ban biang e lada ka jingkren ulan lakren ha ka tin ka ba ya sung thu lang bat ulo ong ru ba nakaliang jong u da ka puli ya ka jingkren ulan kan kham toy shibun namar ula ban sung thu ya ka jingkren khamba
Happy that it was highlighted once again this year because we need to be consistent about that. We need to make sure that government of India knows that the people of the state of Meghalaya do not understand Hindi. In fact, even we were having some difficulty following the language that was spoken, even though the written speech was given to us. So this is important that we consistently inform and highlight to the government of India that we are a non-Hindi speaking community.
You did not object when the matter was brought in the cabinet. You should have objected now.
We had in fact, matter speaking in a specific language is not a matter of the cabinet. This is something which we anticipated will happen. Not necessary that it was discussed in the cabinet. But there is a language barrier. The Honorable Governor cannot speak any other language but Hindi. And what was done was done.
You earlier you were in opposition in 2018, and we saw that it was only you who came forward and who opposed. But this time you did not oppose. Is it because you are part of the
roles?
ruling?
No, roles change. Roles change. Just because Ampreen has gone to government, that does not mean that opposition shall not highlight it. So we must be grateful that it was highlighted. Despite the fact that our roles in government change. And it is not unusual for roles in government to change. It's not as if I'm in government, so I should also rise. I have to maintain the protocol, but I'm happy that it was again highlighted. And government of India should take note that they should send governors who would preferably speak the language that is spoken by the people.
Nakaliang ba polling do pad ulo ong ba kanlong kaban biang lada ka jingkren ulat lakren ha ka ktien ka baya song thu lang bat ulo ong ru ba nakaliang jong u da ka puli ka jingkren ulat kan kham toy shibun namar ula ban song thu ya ka jingkren kham bha.
The speech of the governor was placed on the table, on every member's table. One. Two, what he delivered was an abridged version of the speech. He did not cover the entire speech, which was covered by the written text. Okay? The written text had many pages. The governor spoke barely 15 minutes.
How do you see that there's Arden has stated in the House that Hindi, that center cannot impose language upon people of state?
There is no question of any imposition to the extent that Hindi is considered the official. Even constitutionally, Hindi is the official language of this country. It is not the national language of this country. Ideally speaking, though, when you communicate, I would have preferred an address in a language that I can thoroughly understand. But today, to compensate for that, what I did was read the governor's speech in English. And reading is far better because you can internalize all points of the speech better than listening to a language which I can only half understand.
They have conveyed the sentiment that was associated with whatever submission the president of BPP has said. And then, so I think what he has said is self-explanatory.
But you as a TMC leader, do you feel that,
See, we have expressed our views in the preceding house. That's on record, isn't it? We have expressed our concern in the preceding house, in the 10th house. We are in the 11th house now.
Right.
Okay. So they are on record. We don't want to repeat because then, there are multiple way of interpretation. Therefore, if you revisit the last house, then you have all those records available.
But don't you feel the need that you should have also joined in together and staging a walkout or opposing?
It's how you approach on issues such as this. Okay, they are on record. They are on record. They are available, and you have to replay the optics. That's how it is.
Do you think it's equally important for the central government to choose a governor wherein somebody who
you see, the most important part is to really appreciate, to have that whole sense of appreciation, honest appreciation of the huge diversity that this nation has, from linguistic perspective, from cultural perspective, from religious perspective. That is what is important. Therefore, how do we approach things in a manner which is in sync with that whole aspirational aspect of these people from diverse linguistic, cultural, and religious background in a nation such as ours? So that's what I'm saying. How people approach on things, how political parties respond to a given situation, that is very important. That's why I say that, okay, different people have different way of doing things. Different political parties have different way of approach on issues such as these. So therefore, it is up to the conscience of the leaders of those respective political parties. I think they should take a cognizance of what has been articulated appropriately in the past and today. We didn't repeat because the message is still there. The optics are still available.
Umentri rang baga jilau Konrad ke sama hakatai ke singi sedang jong ke dorbar mang tingka jong ka yeng dorbar thau an jong ke jila habai kram ikilat pathai khubor ula ong ba kamdi kesin ke bening kong ba ulat jong ke jila unkren hapo yeng dorbar thau an da ka tin hindi hindre hakipor ki ba mensuaru kaladon but de makani kadau ba ulat umla banda kren bahai ka tin paring na kata kadau lapan ba unkren da ka tin hindi.
You see, first thing is that we have had occasions in the past also where the governor has not addressed the house in English. And in all the past situations, the primary reason has been because of the limitations that the respected governor had in terms of fluency with a particular language and not being able to speak or read a particular other language. And that is normal because our country is a very diverse country. And governors are sometimes from states which are more Hindi speaking. And as per the governor's capacity at that point in time, the past governors have also requested that they be allowed to speak in a language or read in the language that they're comfortable with. And that is the reason why the Honorable Governor, because of his limitations with English, had requested and that he be allowed to read in Hindi. And the English version of the entire governor's address was placed in the house for the members to refer to and to read. That's number one. So it's not that it's not happened in the past. Number one, it has happened. And more importantly, number two, it is not because they desire to speak in not in English and in Hindi, but it is because of the limitations that they have at a personal level, because of which they are not able to speak or read or their speech in English. So that's the first part of the entire point. Second is that when the governor is speaking, it's a very kind of a sacred and constitutional responsibility, and the governor is reading out the goals and objectives and the vision of the government, and this is something that is a moment that is very, very, as I said, it's very, very constitutionally very high, and one should not take it in a very light manner. So therefore, when a proceeding like that is taking place, when the Honorable Governor is going through or reading out the Governor's address, there should be a certain level of respect that needs to be maintained. Decorum needs to be maintained in the House. And if there are issues and concerns, that is not the moment to bring out those concerns, especially when the governor is on his feet, or at least in this he had excused himself and he was reading his speech sitting. But point being that while he is speaking, it is very wrong and sets a very, very wrong precedent and a very strong example, and is in one way disrespectful to the chair of the governor when you interfere while he is speaking. So that was not correct, as I said.
Umentri rang baga jilau Konrad ke sama ulapan pau menhaka arpulai treatment tau benai baka jing shim ram bat ka ram ka ba ka Meghalaya ka don kam shim latam yau put yau balabu da ka Union Finance Ministry. Habakren hakilat pathai Khubor hadian balawai no ka jingalang jong ka dorbar mangtingka u Konrad ke sangma uloong ba haki babun hi ki kep ki brio ki sngo baya kita ki projects ki balawan ra jingarap na shabar kum ki agencies ka World Bank ne ka Asian Development Bank ki de ki loan lane ki ram namar jong ka Kantian Bank but uloong ba haki babun hi ki kep kandai 4% na ki funds lane ki projects kiba wan na kita kiba kibriu kisngo ba kidei ki ram kidei kiba hakajing shisha la siu pat eki da ka sorkar pedeng kadba ka sorkar jala ka siu tang 10% naki.
The government of Meghalaya's loan and the debt level is very much within the limit of what the finance ministry allows, and hence we are very much within that limit. I am presuming that the World Bank and the other externally aided projects, since the word bank is there, I'm presuming that they feel that externally aided projects also are loans. And hence I have clarified time and again, and I have also mentioned it in my budget speech, that 90% of these funds that are coming in, the so-called loans, are actually repaid by the central government. And hence these are not loans in full to us. We only paid 10% of that as loan. So therefore, this entire concept or this entire confusion that is there has to be clarified. That all the international banks that are giving the money to us, 90% of that money that comes in, or the loan that comes in, is repaid by the central government. It does not fall on the state government.
Unailam juga seng khnam ulawan ban pin kemau ia ka sorkar jela halor ki artali ki mat jing dawa ki ba ka seng kalade ban bu hakmat menteri rang ba ka jela. Kawai na kini kalong halo ka jing dawa ban pindu shi sunda ne karukom shim personal interview hakapor bathung kamna ka banta ka group BCD. Kawai pat kalong halor ka jing ai state kota ki khna pude da ka badawa ba ka sorkar ka dei banyat kat kum ka merit list khnang ba ki bari hok kin yo bat kin omdu namar kat kum ka jinglap ka khnam lingba ka RTI lala babun ba kila pelen ya ka ne ka bha da ka ba e no ya ka jing puri shi tengpor
pina kalian ga jongi hakini ki bra ibada ka government wala dam ila deb ban ai da ka memorandum sha chief minister Konrad ke sama halor ka to ka jing dawa ka jongi ba dei ban pendu no ya ka personal interview haka ba dei bat ka group B C bat D post ini ka dei kumbang lagi nak kalian ke sorkar India nadu ka notification bagi apa mi hak hadir terik menai nomba azakat sana kila ada pendu ki personal interview haga BC badi kalau mi kalau ba kerang ba ngin pendu no ya kam neptuzen kacing tap kam tap jam hadir kam sorkar haga nanti ba bakala haga nanti ke Bombay kita ke benongkong kabar pada ba nakaliang ketuk notification jong government of India kila to sai kedar kini ki pelong ini ki personal interview benengkong ke pensop ikai ya kapor jong ki officers jong ki department of affairs nang ta pada ke pensop ru ya pelaksa juga sarkar te hak beri bekani hadin u arja naru sitri jonuri arja khandri ke sarkar India kan awen ya kata personal interview but kumjuru are politely state hapo kari India borok ki awen lor Tena kali ngajungi hatu kapor na aga jing thok sha chief minister bangi ngiri ban bud ikne ka senjam krang ba rukom thungkam jong ki hakitat sarkar per kadlong ka ba itana ka ba num sha silang inu krang bu badi hop ban yo ya kam kin bio habari ba kini ka jui ngila ongru ba ka state government ka jongi kala dei ka harin san posnem ngila dungkam ya ka recruitment policy pi ka jinge kalau kumeng gi bunai kra samlang ngi kendo kira thap ya kam la pun mi advertisement kira thap kam ka call letter ka pahin ulah hadin laisna dari kra samla dungi ki ong tem kemau shu menungi thap ya kam ru tingi kwa ba ka sarkar Meghalaya kanwan ra da ka recruitment policy kanwan ra ka SOP kenang ba kandur ke time frame kan haba pikot mentak advertisement hadin hapo si benai piliban kot nak kira kedenting test hapo si benai ar benai piliban declare nak result nang tak pada simultaneously ban appoint nak rakam hendai ni ba karukom ka ki polisi jong sarkari hak ba dei bat karukom tum jam ini kam sarkari ba per kalau thamola kalau ke Bombay bat ka bayalam bakala ka ba penmut snil ya ki kon samla ke jongi te kini ki artli ki mat ki ba na kalian ke jongi ngira ada thoteng saka sarkar jela ke jongi ban ngila kemilen ti mana kalian CM kin ai ko ka sign la ni ka city la ni ka jawab haba dei ka to jing dawa ke jongi rei ni tip sai kedar ba ki kinu kijing tho ki bangi pha sok sarkar ni teng syapte ni aktif ki puli nam puli kita kijing tho te kini ki dei ki mat ki bakta mdai yang ni ndai kadai ka of public importance kadai ka jinon kam yang patba te ni community pada lembag ka badang yat mentak ni ka assembly session ka jongi ba ni kwa ba kandon ka jia tai kini ki mat ki bokongsan ba ki bakta ya kalawai jong samla ka jongi ka ba arpa dia ka mat ka ba nakalen ka jongi sokya ka dei ka jing pen hak jong ka sarkar jilla ya ka state reservation policy hak academic reservation ting ong ngindapet tan rai ba ka state reservation policy ka kana spani ko ar ka klem kren hangnu nuru ya ka academic reservation but kumbangila ki bon ba kini ki seat bandit puli naki kota jong so ki sabai lo ki bon ma sabai ki don kini ki RTI bingi file arja khatla khatsan ki don kini ki column ki ba students name of students who have not completed ki bon ki ba kram lecturer ki ayo kota ki klem pendam ki ayo kota boro ki klem pendam te kani ka jimbomla jong kini ki khana puli ban pendam kadai ba ka sarkar jela ka le ikane ka jing ai ba kapang klem da simkia ba ya ka merit base jong ki khana puli de nakale ngo tunging so thamolaru vi binakran ne ka state reservation policy nya biya saka article khanre jo constitution jong India hene ka academic reservation ka deska article safun re takra kini article kimya ha bi kimri kijo kiwan na ka jong na la ki jong ki article lamba constitution de nakale ngo jong ngi ong ba dang shen ngi ba po ni grim ru kami ka bangan yo on puli kini khana samla ke jongi henry kitu ki boyo ka percentage ka bahe kimyo la to sit kitu ki beret kiyo na ta kadang kimla ban complete leban pendek ko jong puli momon ka chuwis kai ya ka kota tena kale jongi kini kali ko ini kimat ki ba don kamba but mi community ba nakalian kinomi kimat ki jongi ka sokar ka jongi kinsim kya kini nakalian ka jongi nang ni kimat ngin ai awareness ba lamba ki jingtho ki jongi ki leaflets ki jongi sekaleng ki college ki school ki snong ki thau ban pun so thu yo pai ba ya kini ki mat ki bakta ba normal lada kum ka jalahi nile mat la ya kini ki mat ki ba kham kongsan te kalawai jongi khon samla jongi kan long badum te kum ba ki juang hi boro ki samla ki bulum jong ka jala te mimla ban pentikna ba kita ki long ki baklan te ni something what on yo kalau we jong jela ka jong itu kan long baturan
uba Titus Khan minta ka Taiew habay kram ikilat pathay Khubor ulaya thu bat ong bat pensyai ba nakaliang jong ka KHADC hadian bala wat lut jingtip naki jing tho ki bala don haka mshimla lap ba hakano ka poru ka KHADC kan aya kata ka NOC na ka benta ka lentirel wala ka sarkar ka lapha ka jing tho la kumbal laipu kandai sin banpin kan mau ya ka council halor ka ni ka NOC ba kala pana shwa uba Titus habakren check in pathay Khubor ulapan syai ba hadian baladep wat dot igijing tho barim hadu menta na kaliang jong ka KHADC kam shim lalap ya kano ka jing tho hakaba ka council kala aya ka NOC na ka benta ka lintirel wat hadian ba ka sarkar kala pha jing tho shaka lakumba laipo khandai sin banpin pitken mau ya ka council haro ka NOC ka balala pa na ka
kwa ban pansyai ka bede ba ka jingmi aki kot Khubor ka bede ba ka statement ka ba ai dong minister jong ka transport ka bede ba ka ni ka railway line menne ka don na ki kot Khubor ba la ai ka ni ka headlines ba ka KHADC ka la de ba ai ka NOC ban sna lentirel na po tetelia sa panihan te ngadon kum ni ban pansyai kanika scheme mo kanika project na bantaban snai kanika railway line na tarai katika bala initiate na do kisnam kiba trapo way tarter to te adin balami kani Khubor na kaliang kusuma ngala kendit namar balay ba hakani ka isi hi ka ba po ka cingelam ka chungi ngimpat sumai kanu ka NOC habede bat ka dan tiral bat ngila kran syairu banakaliang jongi ke district council ni yang scam hi bakat bang impat yo ya ke jing menjur jongki create nong sensyar jongki pat ba jongka district ke jongi jongka area ke jongi ke bahap apa hasil autonomous council nginum la ban ai ke ni ke onusi tenre ke belengo kalong ba ngai I mene ba kami akilat rai Khubor ya ke statement ke bala ai dai minister jongi hangte po assembly ban ong ba la ye dep yo onusi na po district council tengah kuat ban pensai yang ni bana kaliang ke jonga kong CM mentagasi ngala pedlut ye ki records ki badan ki file ki badan po district council kam sim dan kanun ke tinga yang dosi tenre nga sikwa ban pensai hang ni kalong ba le si aki snem shwa ka snem arajar khatlai namar haki tu ki por kanika acquisition ya ka jaka kimpat dan kam ya kanun ke NOC na po district council Data onda la amen ya kanika Land Acquisition and Rehabilitation Resettlement Act mo kabangi ong Land Acquisition Act te hadin kata ba kanunu ka jing acquisition ya kajaka na ni ka jing sim jaka apo upul usam ba dei jong ka schedule area don kam ya ka NOC na po district council te kata ka bentana kaliang ka jonga ngam kwa ban kerni namar ba prior to 2013 mo kapumut haswahi jongka 2013 kat bampat menteri kami kanika ai lesi nakalian ka sarkar kala ban sim jaka klaim da don kami ka concern jongka district council tinre nadu ka snem araja khalai terter ngalapet lut ya record separo bat ka jingpan ya ka concern na po district council na ka sarkar ka city ka bangiyo ka dei khat saw khat ar khat saw tarik banai ba khat ar jo ka stem araja khat riu kani ka correspondent ka baningkong du ka banakaliang ka sarkar kala tho sengi ka district council ban pan ya ka consent ha bedei ba ka proposal for land acquisition in connection with the construction of goods approach road towards Berni Hat railway station of Tetilia Berni Hat railway line national project in Riboy district yakani hadu menta ngimpat ai kanunu ka consent bat kumjuru agas nem arajar khat nyo ke nakaliang under secretary agas state government la tho biang sengi ban ai ka consent ban ngani thu ithi bakidon hadu khlai pho khandai teli ki reminder ki bangiyo mo life khandai teli ki reminder ki bangiyo nakaliang ka state government hak bayadai bagani ka kam dan rehatu mentah ngakwa ban kansai ban nakaliang ka district council hi ngimpat ai kanunu ka concern la ni ka NOC hakabe dei bat ka railway line
Umitri ng baga jila konrat ke sangma ulapan pau menhaka arp south treatment tau benai baka sarkar hadu menta kampat yo ikata ka NOC naga Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council ha ka ba yade baka ta kalintirel na Berni ha chashilong but ha ka ba de baka ni ka jing kran kadang ya chakprang
The railway projects as of now, we have not received the NOC from Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council in regards to the Shillong line, and therefore that is still being discussed. I have approached the Honorable Minister for Railways, Government of India, and urged that these are matters where we need to consult and take our stakeholders into confidence, and hence we require time to discuss matters with them. And only once we are able to resolve and come to some kind of understanding would we want to go ahead with things. So that is the status as of now.
Well, what about Barniat? Till Barniat?
In Barniat also, there were certain concerns are there, and there also we are engaging and discussing with the different stakeholders. I've mentioned before that we have discussed whether we can start with goods train, because goods train is something that will help the state's economy and the farmers and everybody, and that could be one way to start. So we are discussing. As I said, we are very clear on our stand that we would like to engage with everybody, discuss this matter, and take it forward in an amicable way.
The central government, in fact, when PM Modi last time came also, he mentioned about railways and all. Central government is again and again putting pressure on about railways. So is there any communication from their side?
Yeah, as I said, I have already discussed with the Honorable Minister in my last visit. And the Honorable Minister has expressed that the Honorable Prime Minister is deeply concerned and he would like to see that all the capitals of the state are connected with railway in the larger interest of the nation in terms of ensuring that the economy overall prospers, and which is a correct stand. That if you look at it from a country's perspective, connecting all the states and the capital is something that will benefit the country as a whole. And obviously, Prime Minister has good intentions while he intends to push all states and the Railway Ministry to achieve this. But while that happens, every state has their own complications. And obviously, in our state, railway has been an issue where a lot of different organizations and also different traditional heads have raised concerns regarding issues of influx. And hence, we need to understand that though the importance of the railway is understood, it is also important to carry our people along and build up the confidence in them, and which is what I had expressed to the Honorable Minister. And Honorable Minister understood, and he said that we will go ahead with all of these things only when we are able to carry everybody along and we understand the problems that are there in the state of Meghalaya. And but we hope that we'll be able to find a solution to them at the earliest.
The NGOs have time and again mentioned that they are not against the railway project, in fact, because they are only against because the government is not coming up with effective mechanism to check influx. So how will your government address this
Exactly. So
long-pending issue?
that's the whole point. As per the which I've been repeating again and again, it's not the stand that people are against railway. The issue is influx and the protection of our people, and that is what the issue is. So therefore, it's always made to look as if organizations are against railway. Everybody understands the importance of railway, and so people are not against that. And hence, that is what we're engaging with the organizations to understand and to find out options on how we could achieve their goal of ensuring that we're able to protect and have provisions for influx. Yet at the same time also have the railway so that the economy of the state and the country can benefit. So we are working on it, and that's what we're trying to move forward with, that it is not an opposition to the railway as such, but the idea is that the interest of the people of the state, which is to ensure that influx matters are addressed, that is the real issue. And therefore, we are engaging and we are trying to figure out how we could come to some kind of conclusion.
But don't you think that the ILP could be a solution to
It
all
could
this?
be. You're right. Again, the thing is that the issue again is influx, and therefore ILP is one of the ways in which we could do it. And that's why, in the interest of ensuring that we're able to move forward, we have passed a resolution and taken it forward. But then ILP is not the only way. It's one of the ways. So if we get ILP, then that'll be great. If not, then how do we move forward? What are the other options? So all these aspects are being discussed, because as I said, the crux of the matter is not that people are against railway. It's not that people are saying it has to be ILP. It's not that people are saying it has to be XYZ. The issue is influx and the protection of our identity.
Kasing san perthei Voice of People's Party VPP menak si thoding jong ka Taiew kala shimya ka rai ban mi madan bat ban penpa perthei ya ka jingshitom ne ya ka jing saja ka ba ki samla ki balanang lasta nri ki bamdon kam don jam jong ka ri khasi ba jantia kilamat hadin bala pentrikam ya ka roster system. Habai kira mekilat pathai Khubor u President jong ka VPP uba ardent mela basayamot uloong ba nakaliang jong ki kimdan shu ya ka wei pat kalenti namar ba nakaliang jong ka sarkar kam shimla aya ki ya kalat banya kren hagabai de bekani ka issue hapo yeng dorbar thawan ulapan pawru ba nakaliang jong ki kinsa tuat jimut bat shimru ya ka jing sngo jong ki pat ba bat khamtam e jong ki samla hagabai de bat kane ka issue ka badan kam e
Nalor bakari ka dorbar ka balingkot tam ka dorbar mangten ka balingkot tam tang news yangi ki private members bill ay tang RC private members business niyo tang RC nalor baki ay ni tang RC saka por ki ay tang 10 minute bangin kren kum haka governor's address mo bangiatay nang tang iba what ya ka budget ru niyo bangiatay tang lagi kinta le si hangi ru kim sa ay poring tang 10 minute te fikir tingin la panra kumno ya kita kimak ki bangi ko apni kren te kani kalong anti people kalong persya ayu pai ba kamlong democratic lani kamlong kat kum ka sinchar pai ba la shule don bor kani kadi ka sin ka baning kong home MLA bang experience ya ka kum kani ka company ai dor ba bani la bani ka buj jong da sarkar la penong ya boro la hukum ngam aratin ya boro ki MLA ki badon ni ki bobon ki MLA ki badon hapo kaliang sinchar ba kini shimmen ta wat ya ka motion ka bam mi ha pat ka constituency ki jongki ka motion ko bon ra i baroni ka dei specific i ka malim constituency kadi ka sin ban kong ba speaker u aina re ju ala ba pin ra i ki pat ki jinge jigi constituency ha ka motion ka bala ai do u MLA ka bala specific nam ta ka tu constituency ban ni i kumno la pen kut mardor klem kli klem pan jimut na ki leader jong ka opposition ha wi dei pat kumno ban penjalan ya ka por ban la persyak ban yang re ngam yo la ban keren i shim sngap bat kani hing i ka dei tang ka jingthu ban kiar ya kani ka issue ka badon kam tam ka ba ngira bat ka text ka bang la submit hi ha kani ka how assembly secretariat kalong bang ni discuss how to put on hold ban pin sange no ya ka jingtroi kam jong kani ka roster system retrospectively ka bamut nadu new puar hey tingi don i ban ai jimut ya ka sarkar kenapa kanum kata iki kun samla jingi kiba apply jam tigani kalong ka jingne kalong persya ya ka sur ka jong pai ba bat kalong ka jingne don bo jong kani ka jong unong punya jong kani ka jing dorba so this is too much on the part of the government. We will not sit idle.
So
we will not allow this kind of tactics to be adopted in the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly.
So will the VPP move a no confidence motion against this speaker?
You see, I think there's another way of protesting, because we know that the people are eagerly awaiting for us to take up this issue. It has badly affected, it has a huge impact on the educated, unemployed youth of this region. So we want to raise in this platform. We know that this issue is very sensitive, and as responsible leader, we know how to raise this issue. Which issue to touch and which not to touch, no?
So coming to the roster system, I think you should file a case in the High Court because it is a High Court decision.
No, you see, the government cannot be selective. The government cannot be selective. If they really want to follow all High Court's directive, they should follow all the directive of the High Court. They should not be selective only in one particular issue. High Court has intervened in many areas and has given directives on many issues, and they didn't bother to abide by the directive of the court. And not only that, when it comes to policy matter, the court, it is not the domain of the court. When it comes to policy matter, it is the domain of the government.
Nagaliang jong unong yalam jong ka Trinamool Congress TMC Dr. Mukul Sangma ulo ong ba ka kedaw ba ka pau shai kedar ba ka don ka jing persang nagaliang jong ka MDA government ne ka sarkar MDA belayalam da ka NPP bakan ya lad ya ki kamram ki jong ka ne ki jing bakli ki jong ka da ka ba kam shimla ai lad ba on pinjlan ya ka por jong ka jing tai hapo yeng dor ba thawan yakani u mukul sangma ulapan pau haba ulapan sngo yakajing sngo kajong u ha ka beide ba kajing le jong ulam phang ka yeng dorbar thau ai Thomas A Sangma ban pin kut noi ka session jong ka yeng dorbar man ha ka sin tho ding jong ka tiyo ulapan pau bat pin so tho ru ba ha ki por ki bala let no yaka por shong dorbar lapin jalan khnang ban ai la ru yaki we ki liang bakin wan ra yaki rai lani ki jing ki li ki jong ki ha ka beide bat ki issues Kibakta ya kipat ba bat khamtam ru ya kajlahi baro kawe.
Immediately after the elections are over, we understand that okay, if the full budget is to be passed within the financial year, meaning before the 31st March of the current financial year, then you already have a very limited time. Therefore, inconsistent with our practice and convention and tradition, what we do is on the first day, the first budget session is usually a vote on account. Then we subsequently come back with the full budget session for passing a full budget. But in the instant case, if they have decided, okay, we would like to pass a full budget prior to the end of the financial year, yes, we welcome it. But then there has been instance in the past, you can recollect,
the whole proceeding of this August House in the preceding years. What happened then? Then there is an understanding amongst the different political parties. And this particular issue is always discussed in the Business Advisory Committee, and keeping in mind the need for ensuring that every proposal of the government, every proposal of the departments are put to scrutiny in the larger interest of the people and with an intent to protect the interests of the state. Therefore, enough time is given even through extension of time. You have seen in the past, we have always extended the time. We all have, as per the rules of procedure and conduct of business, a limited time. The House shall transact its business between 10 to 2 o'clock, the normal days. But from 10 to 2 o'clock on Fridays, we know that. But then we have always had extension of time in order to provide that additional space which is required in the event of a session which is considered very short. So this is what is inconsistent with the tradition and practice of this August House, seen in the past, in the preceding decades, ever since we were privileged to have our own state and own state legislature.
Nakaliang jo Ministry rang ba ka jila Conrad ke sangma ula kren penshai but kren yada halor ka jingle jong lampang ka yeng dor bar thau an ke jila u Thomas A sangma but ong ba ke ka bawla le but ka rai ka bawla shim ha ka si thoding jong ka tayo ban pen kut no ya ka jingya tainia po yeng dor bar ka long kat kum kita ki an ki ken don bala bu kat kum kata ka conduct of business ha po yeng dor bar thau an.
We have not shied away from anything. In fact, the time and the rules are there as per the the rules or the procedures of conduct of business. All of this is there in the rule book, and the rule book specifically mentions that on Friday the House will function from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and it has been the some parts of the opposition have stressed on the rule many times and saying that rule should be followed, and that is exactly what the speaker is doing. He's going as per the rules. He's going as per the Business Advisory Committee's decisions, and all the points have been mentioned based on that. There are many occasions in which they can speak about these issues. There is the governor's address, the debate on governor's address. There is a budget. There can be special motions. There can be short discussion. So many options are there. So therefore, the members are free to raise any issue at any time. And regarding all the issues that have ever been brought out, we have always discussed the matters. We have never shied away from anything, and in the future also, and present and future also, we'll never shy away from any of the issues.
Hakamit jong ka arpo tarik mentau benai hakapor kumba prabaje AA ki pulit ka ribhoi ki layo kem ya u Prince Abraham Silyang u beladan laipusan snem karta nagasnong pahamolen arpo mer but ya u social kurba u beladan nyopu ars snem karta nagasnong umdam duki halo ka jing syakno ba ki ladon kti hakaba penyap dusman ya uwe urang ba nagasnong pahamolen arpo mer. Kajing kem jong ki pulit ikitay ki arngot ka dihalor kajing syakan no ba ki ladon kti hakaban penyap dusman yo ba Elias Rendong henrupos nem tam karta nakasnong pahamaulen hakaba ula sya penyap men haka thandai terik mentau benai hakapor ba ulami na ye man selingkha laruban kedo hangni ba kajing sya penyap jong tei rang ba kalalong kabasngong shirkhei e namar ki runar ki lapom dai ki tiar ki banap badlen themmau na ki benda jong ka khli hadu ba ka khli kan prai phom
9th of March 2023 around 5:20 p.m. Barnihat outpost received a telephonic information that there was an unidentified male body found at 20th mile, Reboy district. So the police team rushed to the spot for further inquiry. On arrival of the spot, it was ascertained that the unknown dead body belonged to the late deceased Elias Rangdong of 20th mile, and the body was identified by the family members, and after that the police team started the investigation process. We also registered FIR immediately next day, and we started conducting the inquiry. So during the course of inquiry, we ascertained that the person who was deceased went for his work on the early morning of 9th March 2023 and never returned back to his home. So after that, further technical investigations were conducted, and also some of the statements of the available witnesses were taken. So during the inquiry, it was ascertained that the deceased person Shri Elias Randong, had some kind of quarrel with two of the main suspects of this case. That is the Prince Abraham Silian of 20th Mile, Riboy district, and also Shri Sushil Kurba of Undak Duki, falls under Riboy district. That the deceased person had some quarrel due to some personal enmity with the above two accused persons. So, along with the available technical tower dams and tower locations, and also the statements of the witnesses, the Riboy police yesterday, that is on 22 night, around 7:30 to 8:30 p.m., we managed to arrest the two accused persons with regard to this particular case. And also the case under Nongpo PS 26/3/2023 under section 302 of IPC. So based on the arrest which we have made, we have forwarded the accused now to the court, and further investigation is in process. We also assure the people of Riboy that Riboy police is very stern of any criminal activities or crime, and we will be always doing the needful to ensure that peace and tranquility prevails in the district. Thank you. So far, these two accused persons have been forwarded and arrested to the court, but they have not been convicted because investigation is still ongoing, and only after the completion of investigation we'll file the charge sheet against the accused persons.
Kawai kabas night super kablami benlit nagati sha silchar kalak hongpong haka surok khongdong kabadan haka shnong shang bangla Riboy district par haka ni ka jingja ki babun ba ki brui ki bala shang haka te ka bas kilamen saujur Kaniga bus kadai kabadan your registration number AR209099 but ka kita do lai pho nyungwat ki breu na Guwahati benit sha silchar Katkum ka jinga thu ki bor pulet la pente ba kaniga bus na lo ba ka kit breu kala kedru ya ki chur ban pen poi sha silchar Katkum ka jing ong jong ki kadao jong ka jingja ka dei namar ka jingnya kali klam akor jong unongnya kani ka bos ublapan hair state ya ka hadu ba umla shu bante lakam ya steering but lam sha ka jingring ko na ka wei ka liang sha ka wei pat ki pulit ki le thu ba bon ngot ki brio na kani ka bos e kilamen sauger ba lapan ke ki shanong po civil hospital ki ya thu ba ki don ru ka to ka ningot ki ba la khamjur ka jiman sa ba lapan ke noi ki sha Guwahati ba ki nyoi ka jing sumar ka ba khampaka
Saying kesentam dundukan ni ba jadi la kerpat dia ka enhai bakan pura da speaker untuk namarkan suki har pemiak kali tentang karena fungsi hang le kala dia kala long kumne mereka kampe ni la ong haki beri ka enhai da tabakim bukan charge korte namar ngala ong ba bunsin ki hap kali kit jur ne ga pe yo jasa kali kit beri yo ki dia yo ki wan dia barong long kumne cincang mo kim met kumne Cuan bat kali pasinjate. Isneang ni para mensim da kabuna da sertifikat na makan khamsuki gin kali naman ka jobe na siliang sa siliang. Pangay mat sausin sansin ko adan higa jintia. Kali kikiat, kali kitchup, kali kitso, kali rit. Tentang ki kali rit da par baslap hagam nengong kili sesulong ki pai kelas kiwan na Guwahati kan pai kelas po Guwahati. Nama balai ni da kali ka ba ka ning e kali ka jatane. Ya udah buat sertifikat pengi ngi sengan yang ibangi saying ne marjan kamtang punrit punria da kan ja mesti ki pun ti da kala ne kamtang ne dukan ja kan ki yang kali bam ja ne demut kan wan dai dak benang te kan terabe nang te kan som siliang te kan ngat de kini kali bayang ne ni bam ja bam ye
kum kalat kelenti ban shim ban pin sa phriang ya ka Khubor badru kum jo ban sothu ban pin sothu pa ba halor ka jingdan kam ban pin ne pin sa ya ko umbam umdi nadu talong ka office trikam jong public health engineer PHE Riboy district lingba ka district water and sanitation mission kila pelong ya ka jing rakhi ya ka world water day menta ka tayo hapo district library hall ka bran hanong po Hagani ka jing rakhi ya ka World Water Day la wan ban yadon bentalang uba MB Tongperu MCS Additional Deputy Commissioner Riboy District hagajing yadon lang ringkat da u W Lingdo Executive Engineer Water Resource Department ba U Korba u Executive Engineer PHE Nongpo Division VW Moment SE PHE Nongpo Emsun Office ka Soil and Water Conservation ba Eid Khar EAC BDO Umling Block ki khina school ki nohi kai but ki no tre ketna PHE hagani ka singi na kaliang ki khina school ba phe but ki village organization ki laban banya shim benta ha ka jing kop pen ya lagi jingshna kumno banting kai ya ka balatip kum ka Jal Jeevan Mission Exhibition bat na kalyang ki nong penyat kila airu ya ki kusnam she ki nong job ha ka ba ka kanhon na ka Yasno Ktilang Village Organization kala long ka nong job ha ka ni jinga kop ka St Paul's Higher Secondary School kalawan ha ka kedan ka baar ba ka St Mary's Secondary School kalawan ha ka kedan ka balai
ni su thu ko ro kan no ga jing sitom ba kiwi kiwi benta jong gari kiwi kiwi benta jong pathai ki sem ha ka be de ba jing don jing jong ga ni ga spa mariang ha ka ni ga jela jong ile se ni long ki bala den bok ni long ki bala kerku mo ha ka jambu slam kasus ne kata ka thembei nak bang yo ni ka umbang di jongi lu slam komuniti di baro ba ka jela jongi ka jela ka ba ulai syaw na da kerku ha ka ba ni dan di jaka pengusora ki beyo adu khat ar hajar uslam ha ka sisna khat hajar mo tang mani jor suko ba ki dan di jaka wi ki bentar dari India ki beyo tang pemba aspa uslam tetang ang ta dala masuk thu adu kan no kali ka jingkerku ya ni ka jela jongi Haka juga por kalau sampai ke lomba kari seorang ya kabala tip kum kata kajaka kabayo iusla bajur ta mapathai haka juga por menta ya seorang kelas sedang menkhot ya ka kum ka wetas desert balik khot ya ka kum ka wetas desert man tip kum lo ngi kari kajaka kabayo iusla bajur kamai mariang kala kerku ini ndai kamai mariang ru kala penti kena bai kata ko bangiyo nyimla punun kam tangi lagi mo kita ki an jong physics ki laws of gravity kim sha e bu makan chongsa ane ha pene jong ne ga lum rikasi rijentia rigaro jongi to hap to ni jaro de na ta ka ba wala ngi yo to slab bujur ki poi ki benai haus nem ne sti ni benai rumah sekretar ma chi pelmi ha ka ba bon nangi halala jongi jigem ya suthu milama de ni ga jingkurdu jong de ne walang idan hapdeng jong kata kajela kabayo yu tau sab bajur adeng idan kata ka jing ya kendu ha kabangi kerdu ya kene kumbang di te bale ge jong bunta kade ge jaka kabala kerkhu syak blong ipi nrei ne si ne kidau jongi bakalong kumni maybe for our own reasons God has blessed us abundantly but yet we still face shortage of water in each and every corner of the state isn't it. So the reason for this most probably is the lack of management as far as this valuable resource is concerned.
Shobangin penkut impeso biang shapi ki pang bokong sansa shisien. Mi jindat bat persha ekonomi khmat ka VPP ya kajingkran ulat daga ktin Hindi ha assembly. Yadaw menteri rangba ya kajingkran ulat daga ktin Hindi. Kentaj u CEM ka KHADC ya kajing INOC na kabenta ka linti rel ha Tetilia Shabarnehan Namar ka jing bam ai Bankren halor ka roster system on mi madan ka VPP Syakyam arngut halor ka jing sya kenot don kti penyap yang rangba ha paham maulin arpomer Lingba ka exhibition la rakhe ya ka World Water Day Begitu input ko na ikini YouTube Khubor kini Taiew mentang ngin sia syam yang bat pi baro ha katai kubi pat Taiew ko banwan kubli pi baro bat hiaso